Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. Right, I feel all right. I know this body is looking a bit. Okay. Now suppose that you had to undertake a journey to find freedom. And if you were told that the destination is where you already are, how would you undertake this journey? Can sound a bit silly, I know. But this is the story of all of us in a way. If all that was needed for freedom was to see that you already are free, in fact, you are that which is beyond freedom and bondage, would that be good news or bad news? You see, and I know most of you will say it is good news, but sometimes you might have this idea that actually I feel it is bad news because I spent already 20 years doing it. And because I've already spent 20 years doing it, this makes it feel like it has been a waste or something like this. So in business, there is a term called good money chasing bad money. So because 20 years have gone, we will spend the next 20 years also saying, I will derive something out of the time which has been spent, but I will not be open to the possibility that this bondage itself has been a wrongful notion, just an idea which has no place in reality. Now, when I ask you to check, nobody finds some bondage. But many times, what you don't also find is what your idea of freedom is. Okay? That is why it can seem a bit unsatisfactory. Yes, it's true. I don't find bondage, but I don't find anything. This can't be freedom. I was promised the nectar of immortality. Is it? Now, but you're actually finding it. You're finding the immortal being as you're meeting yourself. But you expected it to be dressed differently. He did not expect that the same old self, the same old presence, the same old existence, which has always been, is the immortal being. You felt that something special has to happen to it. But this being is already more than your mind can ever fathom. And therefore, to interpret it, to judge it, is useless, it's pointless. So, to recognize it, to realize it, it is just to meet yourself in this non judgmental way, uninterpreted way. And you see that even the concept of meeting becomes invalid. Because how does the hand meet itself? It is itself. You are yourself. There is nothing missing in yourself. There is nothing limited about yourself. The absolute does not come and go. It is your reality. All your ideas about what self-realization should mean have also come. They were not naturally present. They have also come, you see. And they can go now. Because this self, which is beyond qualities and attributes, will not match any notion you have about yourself. We have become so attached to perceptions and sensations that we are looking for the self also, as if we will find some new sensation, some new perception. But what you're finding is that which is aware of all of this, and yet it itself is not a sensation. It itself is not a perception. It is beyond the play of attention. Who is here right now? Can the one that is be just a sensation, a perception? Are you just a sensation or a perception? Are you an appearance? You already know that you cannot be these things. And yet, the mind can create this expectation that a certain appearance has to happen, and then I will be free. A certain sensation has to be experienced, and then I will be free. We cannot produce the one that is bound. We only presume that one. So we presume the false and we swear allegiance to that false. And we are in denial of the truth which just is. You just are. You are. You cannot rid yourself of this. But the person never is. Your idea about yourself is never your reality. All that you will ever be, you already are. How many don't like this idea? All that you ever will ever be, you already are. Anybody who doesn't like this idea? That's good. Are you just humoring me? Why am I speaking so much? You are that already. That which is not an object, not a thing. So if you are already that you will ever be, what needs to happen now? If you're already that which you will ever be, what needs to happen? Huh? False notions are dropped, but now in this moment they are dropped. So done? He said, what needs to happen is that the false needs to drop. And I've been giving all of you this good news that all that is false cannot even survive this moment. So already gone. See, false means coming and going. False means that which cannot really survive the light of your presence in this very moment. So false is already gone. What is left now? You have to hold on to a particular state. You have to only be a certain way. The problem is the opposite. The problem is if you were to try and leave the self, then that would be a big problem. It is not in trying to find the self. Can you leave yourself? Please. Sleep. 1 minute. So self is here. False is gone. Self is here. Now what needs to happen? So in Tiruvannamalai, somebody said fireworks. And that evening there was some fireworks. Somebody was getting married. So fireworks also came. But notice how the mind will try to sell you a story that some sensation or some perception must be there. Only then you must be free. You cannot be God, you cannot be consciousness until that one type of sensation or perception is there. How plausible is this story? That for the existence of God, there must be a certain type of quality of sensation. The other thing that can happen is that as we are talking, we might be having a three-sided conversation. I'm talking all this, then you're giving it to the mind saying, no, but actually, all this is fine, easier said than done. But then you find that, and then you're listening to what I have as a counter to that, and you're waiting to see what the mind has a counter to that. If that is happening, then leave all this. Stay with your own insight about what you are finding for yourself. Use the words in satsang as pointers. So, for example, when I say you have no boundary, don't just pick up the concept, oh, I have no boundary. The mind will say, but, when you were arguing with your mother yesterday, you seem to have a boundary. Don't make it a conceptual idea. Check, where is my boundary? Do you have a boundary? And as you check, you experience some sensations. The mind will come and say, yeah, see, this is your boundary. You are contained in these sensations. These define your boundary. Explore the validity of these words. Are these sensations containing me? Or do I contain them? Find out what is your true position. I know that these kind of questions can shake up all that you have believed about yourself. And that is why they are important. Any sensation that you might be identifying with as yourself, can I not add one more sensation to the mix? Suppose you're looking at the body sensation, saying, this is not. But in the same space in which body sensation is happening, you're also experiencing the sensation of this voice. Unlimited space for all these sensations and perceptions is contained within you. If it was not for the voice of limitation, this mind, what is telling you that something is your boundary? Nothing in your experience is defining a boundary for you. Just the interpretation of it. You are the limitless existence. And don't just take my word for it. Check for yourself. My existence. If it is limited, then I should be able to measure it. I should be able to tell you the size, the weight of my existence. And if all of us were separate existence, each of us would be able to tell you what are the limits to my existence. So, how many kgs of existence do you have?
Just had to weigh myself today.
My I am is 23 kgs. Who has ever said that? It might sound like a trivial point that I'm making. There's a story of Swami Vivekananda. Now, Swami Vivekananda is one of the most well-known Swamis to ever come from India. And Swami Vivekananda, he had this special, like ever since he was born, he had some special supernatural abilities. We won't get into too much of those. But what would happen is he would close his eyes and he would always see blue light. Yeah. So, but he never mentioned it to anyone. Till he was much older. Then when he did mention it, people said, "Why didn't you say this sooner?" He said, "I thought it's everybody is experiencing this because it was so common for him. It was not a big deal. And this has happened to all of us because we have just existed always. we feel like, oh, what's the big deal in that? There must be something more. But as we truly start to explore this presence, this existence, this beingness, this isness, we see the misunderstanding, which was the idea of limitation. Then we see that the sages were not kidding when they said, you are the boundless ocean. Ashtavakra was not making it up when he said, you are the one solitary witness of all there is. Guruji is not being nice to you when he says that your presence is the holy presence of the Lord itself. Now the mind's job is to come up with a doubt. So it will say, but something. So the path of the surrenderer is to say, but whatever it is, but God is here. That is the path of the surrenderer. But Guruji is here. But God is here. Whatever doubt the mind might bring, you have a bigger answer. The path of the inquirer is to say, is this true? Who am I? The mind comes and says, you are not there yet. Then the inquirer says, who is this I who is not there yet? Very simply, these are the two main paths. They can sound like they're very complicated or something. But actually, it's just this. Mind says, but you are not there yet. If you say, but that is Guruji's problem. You are surrendered. The mind says, but you are not there yet. You say, who is this I who is not there yet? And by the way, who is the one who's speaking? Either or both are okay. Many feel like, oh, the mind is my true voice. Have you ever made a phone call to yourself? You dial your number and call yourself. Why you need a voice to speak to yourself? So in response to the mind's doubts, if you were to ask, who are you speaking to? Or who is it that is speaking? Either question will do. So who has a doubt that they have trouble with? Articulate it. What is it?
Just although everything you're saying, I know there is no other time. So right now, there's just a lot of there's just all this goo, and that's got more, seems to have more aliveness actually than what you.
Yes. So she says that although somewhere I can understand what all you say, but right now there's so much of this sticky stuff. It seems to be alive. Now, is this sticky stuff there independent of you? I mean, have you ever experienced sticky stuff without you being there?
Feels like me.
Huh?
Sticky stuff right now, the sticky stuff feels like me.
Feels like me.
What it is, the me. It's the me.
And yet, you were there before it came? Or you always had this sticky stuff? It's always been there.
Yeah, I guess there's a belief. It's very familiar. You know?
It's familiar.
It's been there more sometimes, sometimes it's often or it's repeatedly.
Repeatedly. See, because if it was always there, then you would not even call it sticky stuff. Then like that Vivekananda's light, you would feel like this is what it means to exist. You see? So there must have been a taste of when it was not there.
There's a strong belief. There's a strong, for some reason, there's a strong identification with something that's really unpleasant.
Yeah. So is that like a sensation or a memory or?
It's sticky stuff.
So if that sticky stuff was you, then the entirety of you would be contained in it. Yes. Now, that which is perceiving the sticky stuff, is it also contained in it?
No. I can feel. I know what you're pointing to.
Yeah.
I can feel this resistance
Yes.
to it.
And
It's
yet,
like, why is it that I
you
don't
resist that completely. You can resist it completely. And yet the answer will not change. Because that which is perceiving it is never contained in it. And you cannot deny that you are perceiving it.
No, yes, it's like, yeah.
So at least this much we can see that it cannot be that the entirety of me is that sticky stuff. There is something which is at least the perceiving, which is beyond it.
Yes, it's true. But when you said something like, does anyone doubt that they're free now or something?
No,
I
I
can't
said.
remember what you said. But
Okay, anyway, that was what I said then. This is so this perceiving is not caught up in this stickiness of the sticky stuff.
no.
Right? How is the sticky stuff affecting it?
It's just, it's not. It's only affecting it's affecting the perception or affecting the ability to be with
Can feel like it is blurring my scene, something like this. But actually, because you are aware of yourself, you cannot, it's not a seeing that way. If you had to look at an object in front of you, then a fog could come and that could blur your vision. But we don't have to look at anything in front of ourselves. We just have to look at what is that which is looking. You see? So all the blurriness can come. That's fine. What can we say about the one that is looking? I'm not even saying forget about the sticky stuff. I'm just saying, okay, 99% of our attention goes on that. Does the rest of it deserve at least 1%?
Yeah.
Yes. so this, let's put 1% of our attention on this, the one that perceives or the perceiving itself, and say, let's see what we can say about that.
It's just there.
Just there. And if I was to say, this is more intimate to you in reality, this is more unchanging than the sticky stuff, would you be open to looking at that?
I don't even know. All I notice is that seems to be some strong magnetism to holding sticky stuff. And
Yes.
actually,
Magnetism is there. And what I'm saying is that which perceives this magnetism also, you see, that is untouched, unchanged, no matter all this stuff actually is coming and going, changing in quality. You see, even if it feels like sticky stuff is always there, at least that much we'll be able to see that it is different in intensity, almost hour by hour, if not minute by minute. So
how would it be?
in intensity or how it is, sometimes it feels really like loud, sometimes like manageable, sometimes subtle. You see? So, but this perceiving is not changing its quality ever. It is just naturally looking.
In some ways, I think the difficulty is that it feels like such effort to look at that and see, even though, yes, it's the truth, it feels like such effort at these times.
Yes, that's why don't push yourself. As I said, just 99 and 1. That's fine. If it is tiring, the minute it becomes tiring, you can stop. It's okay because this is not going anywhere.
And even
You see that whatever the sticky stuff might be, it is all contained in you.
yeah, I see it now a bit more easily. I see it, it's a little more clear now.
And if I were to say there is space for 10 more sensations to be experienced in the same you, would you say this is true or not? If I was to say that many more perceptions, sensations can be felt in the same space, just like this voice is speaking. If another 10 voices were also speaking, they would also be heard in the same space of you. You might not be able to decipher them. Just like you might be hearing the sound of the road, you might be hearing the sound of people breathing. So many other perceptions are also there. Are they in two separate spaces, this sticky stuff and all these perceptions?
No.
They're in the same space. And this space is your own being or your very own space. Don't even confuse it. It doesn't feel like being. It's your own space, isn't it? So all that I'm saying is that in my experiment with what is here, I found that this space is unlimited. Or at least can you say that it is not as limited as you believed it to be in the past?
Yes, for the space.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. But everything has always been there, isn't it?
Yeah.
It has always been there, but we have not recognized it to be spacious in that way. So is there something that can come if it's like super sticky, araldite or whatever, super glue? Can it stick to the space itself?
No, the most true answer I can give
Yeah.
to most of what you're asking right now is
Yeah.
I don't know, because
Yeah.
I can't even say anything that, like, really with conviction right now. It's just there's just such a kind of a bug in my mind, and I wonder, it's like even when I'm looking, it's like I can see, maybe I can answer some yes, but it seems almost a bit abstract. Like there's some disconnect, and I don't know what that is. I suppose then the why. There's no point.
That's why I said till there's some energy and till there's some just like natural playfulness to it, otherwise forget it. It's not a
It's frustrating because it's at these times that I feel I need
you have
be
to
able
perform
see.
or something. You have to deliver.
But then realizing actually all I need to do is just kind of be there. I guess there's more trust now that truth is there, even if I can't always see it. However,
No, however, after trust.
okay. Well, it's just if it's always about right now, then sometimes right now I guess I can just I can see them.
It can be very, very straightforward and simple like this. You don't have to approach this as if you have to come to some good big discovery or something like that.
It's, when you said earlier though, with this idea, like, is it good? Does it sound like good news that this is?
All that is.
Yeah, that this is all, and I could feel the part of me that was kind of like, but I know it's just a mistake. I'm sorry. I'm talking.
I like hearing it. It's important. I know that when I was saying that, it is not possible that everybody says yes.
Yeah,
I know to come that resistance to say there must be more, there must be something else.
Yeah.
Something has to change.
Thank you.
What else? But
just this moment, something like wants to experience the space again.
So experience the space again.
Yeah. So I'm taking it as a thought.
Yes.
Thinking that's the best way of doing it.
Yeah. Can you not experience the space?
Yeah.
Just don't experience the space in which all of this, like this voice is being perceived where?
It's just being experienced.
Yeah.
It's just being
Experienced. Outside you?
Yeah.
this within which it is being experienced within me, this is already spacious. Now I know that sometimes you can just feel that. Attention can seem expansive, attention can seem contract.
Yeah, attention seems in the body.
Yeah. And even if it's contracted, it is just the attention which is there. Just like when you're watching a screen, sometimes you're just like that. So
There's no contraction, it just feels like something
Yes.
wants to experience that spacious and feeling. So it's very subtle, but because I feel like this is the checker guy, yeah, right? Where is the space? Right? So I'm taking it as a thought as well. But it's no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something else. So
no matter what the content of the experience or the quality of the experience might be, no matter which sensations or perceptions might appear, no matter how broad, expansive, or constricted your attention might seem, you exist. The existence is here.
It's just something else now saying if I would drop the body now,
Yeah.
it would be like all that is would disappear, no? Whereas before that space would be still here.
But you drop the body every night and sleep.
Yeah.
What happens?
So I can take this as a thought as well now. What
Yes, everything which is projecting outwards into the future, into the shoulds, coulds, ifs, then the truth is available here now. That is why I like this ancient Indian definition of reality. That which does not come and go, that which is unchanging. Why it's so helpful is because then it must be here now. If it relies on some condition, that if this, then this, therefore, then it will be like that. That means it cannot be here now. Then it cannot be the unchanging truth, the unchanging reality. Your existence, and even more so your awareness of even this existence, does not change in quality, in color, and shape or size. It just is. You cannot find a distinction between it and yourself. Other things are just all coming and going. But you, it is that intimate to you that you cannot say you and me, there is some, you and that, there is some distance. It is just you and awareness beyond time and space. And this is your unchanging reality. And you're tasting that.
So even if I just stay with this attention to the body and don't believe into my mind, I feel like it can be no problem.
Yeah.
Even though I don't experience the space in that, it just
Exactly. The only problem is when we pick up a notion about ourselves. There's never a problem unless we pick up an idea or concept about something. So you're right, no problem can be there. But I'm saying that even you don't have to force attention so much. Just here. Leave it free. If it is naturally resting somewhere, then
yeah,
it's
it
fine.
feels like naturally
Yeah.
resting on the body.
my proposition to all of you is that your being is the greatest enlightened being ever. It is the only enlightened. It's the only enlightened being that you will ever meet. You are here and you are complete. And you are completely free also to pick up the mask of incompleteness or something, the idea that something is missing, and play with that. Because your completion itself includes even that, isn't it? Maya says, Father, you said there is only you as awareness, not you and awareness. That sounds correct, even if I didn't say that. That sounds good. There is resistance to call the emptiness as I. Person feels familiar. Tejas says there is resistance to call the emptiness as I. Person feels familiar. It's the most unfamiliar. Where is it? Not even met him once. But I know what you mean. You feel like, why I must be this limited entity. I can't be this neutral seeing from which all things come and go. It seems like it is too much. So don't call anything I. It's okay. Conversationally, of course, you can use I. You don't have to force yourself to use the term I for anything at all. Actually, for the dawn of true knowledge, the true recognition of the self, nothing needs to be done except the dropping of the false notions about ourselves. So as long as you're not referring to yourself as something that you can't even find, that much is enough for me. And why would you want to call yourself something that you can't even find? The one that wants freedom, the one that wants money in the bank, the one that wants relationship, the one that wants superstar body. You play as all these variety of these ones, but can you find that one? It's just a big presumption, just a belief system that I must be that. Nancy says, Father, when the play of things are painful, how does this fit in with my seeing of who I am? I know it is just happening, But it does bring up questions of why. Yeah. So it is said that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. And we have seen, all of us, that as this human plays on, it is full of these opposites of pain and pleasure. Physical pain, emotional pain, something happens and grief is experienced. You can call that pain. This is part of the design of this plane. Nobody here has escaped from it. Even the greatest gods, even in Indian spirituality, they've heard about the greatest avatars of the Lord Himself have come, and in worldly situations they cry with grief. So no one has really escaped from pain. But it fits in very well with the seeing of who I am. Because you find that, yes, there is pain. And as this pain is unresisted, because you do not find the individual sufferer of this pain, you're seeing that who you are is not restricted. It is spacious enough for all of this pain to come. And suffering, another way to say, is a form of resisted pain, a resistance to what is. And even medical patients, most of humanity, whoever has experimented like this, have reported that that pain which is accepted, which is unresisted, does not seem as severe, does not seem as long lasting as pain which is constantly met with, when will it go, why does it happen to me, why is my life like this, my satsang is not helping. You see, these kind of notions just form a resistance to what is, and it can seem to amplify the experience of suffering. It does bring up question of why. But in this world, truly, there is no answer for why. There is no answer for anything phenomenal when we say why. Because the only cause, the one cause is consciousness. And the only one that is experiencing all effects is consciousness. So why? You can say it is how consciousness is experiencing itself, is playing with itself. I'm happy that you say, how does that correlate with what I'm seeing about myself? Because that itself is beautiful, because that means that the individual idea of Nancy is not participating in the play of pain. And it is only when the individual idea of Nancy plays along with the pain, then that pain can feel like suffering. And yet I know that in this world, when pain is there, it does not feel like a fun place to be in. So all my love and blessings for whatever the quality of the pain you might be experiencing. May the Sadguru's grace bring you peace from that. Thank you all so much for joining in Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Moji Baba ki Jai.
Sadhguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.
You all.